all the time. Was named 2005 Staffer of the Year by the Fort Collins, Colorado newspaper. Won 13 individual Colorado Press Association awards from 2000-2009, including 5 first places. Served on the Windsor Chamber of Commerce Board for 1 year. And uniquely, actually spearheaded the retirement of my number here, which was a great honor. And number 3, which Nate also had, I'll have to say. So that was in 2005. So just welcome Kurt Hinkle up to the stage.
Good evening. My speech is 37 minutes, so bear with me. I want to congratulate everybody who was inducted today, Al and Arlen and the Hinkle family and the fellow media Legacy Award winners. Congratulations, everybody. Even though I realize the significance of tonight's award, I'm still shocked to be included. I'm just a journalist. It's surreal to think that a journalist is being inducted into an Athletic Hall of Fame. When I've told people that I'm being inducted into an Athletic Hall of Fame, they look puzzled. And the ones who know me since high school have pointed and laughed. I can't swim the length of a pool, or purposely triple jump, or score a takedown on a wrestling mat. My athletic highlights include the following. Scored exactly 2 points during my entire freshman basketball season. Hit two home runs in adult softball, back to back. Scored 1 touchdown in 8th grade football. And then yesterday, birdied a hole here at Pelican Heights. But I can type 73 words a minute. But I'm extremely humbled to be honored here today alongside fellow Beacon journalists Todd Bess, David Persons, the late Jason Shedd, as well as newsprint rival Tom Fasano. All 4 either directly or indirectly made me a better reporter and fact gatherer, and I thank and congratulate you all for your award tonight. I was 22 and fresh out of UNC when I accepted a job as a senior reporter for the Windsor Beacon in 1998. I had no general opinion of Windsor whatsoever. I grew up in Sterling and played several baseball games at Mo Kwame Field, but never spent much time here. I did, though, have an overwhelming dislike for the early 1990s football team coached by fellow Hall of Fame inductee Al Lear and led by the appropriately cocky Nate Kwame. Those Windsor teams throttled my Sterling Tigers during my high school years. And Nate let us know how poorly our team played after one particular playoff game when he came over to our student section and taunted us after a Windsor beatdown. If Twitter was around in 1993, Nate Kwame would have been a trending topic. On my first day of the job in July of 1998, I called my grandmother, Bernice Young in Holyoke, to let her know how I was doing. She said, you know, my side of the family immigrated from Grim, Russia to Windsor. And my mother was married in Windsor. So if you go to the cemetery, you can find a lot of your relatives buried there. Without even knowing it, I had landed a job in a town with significant meaning to my family. In my first column, I mentioned my grandmother's conversation and that I might be related to a large number of residents. And sure enough, over the next 3 years or so, all sorts of Fritzlers and Bruners and Brunkharts and Stromans and Schlockhauers and Rieschneiders came into the office to tell me what branch of the family tree they were perched on. Quickly I realized that Windsor wasn't some ordinary town and that the Windsor Beacon wasn't an ordinary newspaper. This town and newspaper were in my blood, and I intended to do my best in honoring them both. For the first 8 years of my 10-year career at the Beacon, I covered numerous state qualifying teams and individuals at Windsor High School, but never a state champion. I arrived on the heels of some state winners in football, volleyball, girls basketball, and cross country. But the state title, well, had seemed to dry up as soon as I came to town. During those 8 years, I got to know dozens of student athletes, their families, the coaches, administrators, teachers, and tireless boosters. As a reporter for one high school, I felt like I was a member of the athletic programs. So it would pain me to cover team after team come up short of their goal of not being the best in the state until 2006. That year, the softball team, coached by Sandy Cummings, featured a talented roster and was good enough to contend with the state's best. The team plowed through the regular season and the playoffs and found itself in the title game against league rival Berthoud. Before the game, I chatted with All-State outfielder Mallory Duran about how I had never reported on a state champion at Windsor High School. And she said something that I won't forget. "Kurt, you're going to report on one tonight." Mallory was a junior at the time and wise beyond her years, and delivered a 2-run home run in that game to help the Lady Wizards win their first ever state softball championship. I stood in the Windsor dugout the entire game, biting my nails on every pitch, and praying for the ball to bounce Windsor's way. The one game that I didn't act like a professional journalist, this is the one game I didn't act like a professional journalist, and I was not supposed to cheer in the dugout. It was the one game that I became a Windsor Wizard. After Windsor was awarded the state trophy, I approached Mallory, the hero of the game, and congratulated her. Mallory said, "This championship is for you too, Kurt. Congratulations, because you deserve it as much as we did." I had already felt a bond with the town and its people prior to that conversation, but Mallory's suggestions solidified my love for Windsor and its school. So I want to thank everyone who has helped me along the way, from coaches, administrators, teachers, secretaries, residents, and of course my coworkers. Thank you, Todd, for letting me expand the sports coverage in the paper, to David for sharing your knowledge of sports journalism with me, to Jason for being a superb friend and ally, and to Tom for unknowingly bringing out the best of me in the never-ending race to break the story. You four are all deserving of this award, and I'm very proud to share it with you. I'm also thank you to Nancy and the Hall of Fame committee for recognizing local media for the commitment to local athletics. I also want to thank my parents, Larry and Renee Hinkle, for encouraging me to follow my dream of becoming a reporter, and for providing me with anything that I ever needed. And to my wife and son, my wife Jill, my son Carter. Jill endured countless swim meets, baseball games, and track meets just to keep me company, and oftentimes assist my task in covering the story. I may have grown up a Sterling Tiger, but I will forever be a Windsor Wizard. Thank you.